Asterisk, Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How many nights have you lost because of one person? How many times have you replayed a conversation in your mind, wondering, what did they really mean? How often have you worried about what people think of you, what they might say about you, or why they treated you the way they did? The truth is, many of us are physically present in the world, but mentally trapped inside our own thoughts. We overthink messages, we overthink silence, we overthink relationships. We overthink the future, and without realizing it, we allow people to occupy a place in our hearts that belongs only to Allah. Today, we will discover why overthinking people is one of the greatest thieves of peace, how Shaytan uses these thoughts to weaken our faith, and how trusting Allah completely can protect our hearts from unnecessary pain. If your heart has been heavy, if you've been emotionally exhausted, if you've been searching for peace that seems impossible to find, then this reminder is for you. May Allah open our hearts, calm our minds, and increase us in trust and reliance upon Him. Ameen. One of the greatest struggles many people face today is not what is happening around them, but what is happening inside their own minds. Overthinking has become a silent burden that steals joy, drains energy, and fills the heart with worries that were never meant to be carried. A person may appear calm on the outside, smiling in front of others and continuing with daily responsibilities, while inside, the mind is racing with endless questions. Why did they say that? Why didn't they reply? Did I do something wrong? What are they thinking about me? These thoughts repeat themselves over and over until they become heavier than the actual situation itself. What begins as a small concern slowly grows into anxiety, sadness, suspicion, and emotional exhaustion. One of the tricks of Shaytan is to keep the believer occupied with thoughts that have no benefit. He whispers doubts into the heart and encourages us to imagine the worst possible outcomes. A delayed message suddenly becomes a sign that someone dislikes us. A short conversation becomes proof that a relationship is ending. Someone's silence is interpreted as hatred, while their distance becomes a personal attack. Yet none of these assumptions may be true. We begin creating stories in our minds without any evidence, and before long we start reacting emotionally to situations that exist only in our imagination. Instead of living in reality, we become prisoners of assumptions. Allah has honored the believer with guidance that protects the heart from this endless cycle. Islam teaches us not to rush into negative assumptions, because assumptions often lead us away from the truth. Many times we suffer because of conclusions we reached ourselves, not because of anything another person actually did. We spend hours worrying about conversations that never happened, arguments that never took place, and problems that never existed. The emotional pain becomes real even though the cause was imagined. This is one of the greatest deceptions of overthinking. It convinces us that our fears are facts when they are simply possibilities that may never happen. Think about how many peaceful moments have been stolen because of unnecessary thoughts. There are people who cannot enjoy a meal with their families because they are replaying an old conversation in their minds. There are people who wake up during the night not because of physical pain, but because their minds refuse to stop analyzing someone's behavior. Some cannot focus in salah because they are wondering what others think about them. Others lose sleep over a single comment made weeks or even months ago. The body remains in the present, but the heart becomes trapped between the past and an imagined future. Sometimes we become our own greatest source of suffering. No one is speaking against us, yet we imagine they are. No one has rejected us, yet we convince ourselves they have. No one has declared themselves our enemy, yet we spend days preparing ourselves for battles that do not exist. This constant mental exhaustion slowly weakens gratitude, because instead of noticing Allah's countless blessings, we become consumed by fears that have no certainty. We begin overlooking the mercy already surrounding us because our attention is fixed on imagined problems. The reality is that not every question deserves an answer, not every silence carries a hidden meaning, and not every change in someone's behavior is about you. People have their own struggles, responsibilities, tests, and emotional battles that you may never know about. Sometimes a person is quiet because they are tired. Sometimes they forget to reply because life became busy. Sometimes they seem distant because they are carrying burdens that only Allah knows. Yet overthinking makes everything personal. It convinces us that every action revolves around us, when in reality, Allah alone knows what is inside every heart. When overthinking becomes a habit, it slowly steals the peace that Allah wants for His servants. Instead of placing trust in Allah's wisdom, we begin placing our trust in endless mental analysis. We believe that if we think long enough, worry hard enough, or analyze deeply enough, we will somehow gain control over every outcome. But the opposite happens. The more we chase certainty through overthinking, the more uncertain we become. Every answer creates another question, every explanation creates another doubt, and every imagined solution opens the door to another fear. The heart becomes exhausted because it was never created to carry such a burden. One of the biggest reasons our hearts become exhausted is because we give people a place in our lives that belongs only to Allah. We begin depending on people's words to feel valuable, their attention to feel loved, and their approval to feel successful. When they praise us, we feel confident. When they ignore us, we feel broken. When they include us, we feel important. When they leave us out, we begin questioning our worth. Without realizing it, the condition of our heart starts changing according to the behavior of people, instead of remaining connected to the one who never changes. This is a dangerous place for the believer because people are imperfect. They make mistakes, they forget, they disappoint, and sometimes they leave without explanation. If your heart is attached completely to people, then every change in them will shake your peace. Allah created the human heart with an incredible ability to love, but that love must always begin with Him. Every other love in this world should come after the love of Allah. When Allah is placed first, every relationship becomes healthier because you no longer expect from people what only Allah can provide. No human being can give you complete security. No spouse, parent, child, friend, or relative can remove every sadness from your life. They may comfort you for a while, but they cannot control your future, protect you from every hardship, or guarantee that they will always remain by your side. Only Allah possesses those qualities because only He is perfect and everlasting. Many people spend years trying to win everyone's approval. They change their personalities to please others. They hide their values to fit in. They remain silent when they should speak and speak when they should remain silent, all because they fear losing people's acceptance. But even after exhausting themselves, they discover something painful. No matter how hard you try, you will never satisfy everyone. If you succeed, someone may become jealous. If you fail, someone may criticize you. If you remain quiet, someone misunderstands you. If you speak, someone disagrees with you. Chasing people's approval is like chasing a shadow that keeps moving farther away. The believer understands that honor comes from Allah alone. If Allah is pleased with you, then the opinions of people cannot decrease your value. And if Allah is displeased with you, then the praise of the entire world cannot increase your worth. This understanding changes the way a person lives. They no longer wake up wondering who likes them and who does not. Instead, they wake up asking themselves whether Allah is pleased with their character, their worship, and their intentions. Their focus shifts from being admired by creation to being accepted by the Creator. There are moments when people will misunderstand you despite your sincerity. They may judge your intentions without knowing your heart. They may spread words about you that are untrue. They may accuse you of things you never did. If your emotional stability depends entirely on changing their opinions, you will spend your entire life fighting battles that never end. But when your heart belongs to Allah, you understand that He knows the truth even when no one else does. He hears every word spoken in secret. He sees every tear that falls when no one is watching. He knows the intentions hidden deep inside your heart, even when the entire world misunderstands you. Sometimes Allah allows people to disappoint us so that we stop expecting from them what should only be expected from Him. We ask people for perfect loyalty, but they fail us. We expect constant attention, but they become busy. We hope they will never hurt us, yet they eventually do because they are human. These experiences are painful, but they also teach an important lesson. Allah gently reminds us that our ultimate dependence should never rest upon His creation. Every disappointment from people can become an invitation to strengthen our relationship with Allah instead of becoming a reason to lose hope. Protecting your heart does not mean refusing to love people. Islam encourages love, kindness, compassion, and strong family ties. It means loving people without making them the center of your existence. It means appreciating them while remembering that they are servants of Allah just like you. It means showing loyalty without worshipping their opinions. It means caring deeply while accepting that every human being is limited. The heart remains soft, merciful, and caring, but its deepest attachment remains with the one who never abandons His servants, never forgets their struggles, never becomes distant, and never changes with time. One of the greatest acts of wisdom a believer can develop is learning that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your heart. Islam teaches us to be kind, merciful, forgiving, and compassionate, but it does not teach us to leave our hearts unprotected. There is a difference between having a soft heart and having an unguarded heart. A soft heart remembers Allah, forgives others, shows mercy, and hopes for good. An unguarded heart, however, allows every opinion, every criticism, every betrayal, and every disappointment to enter without limits. The result is emotional exhaustion, constant overthinking, and a peace that disappears whenever people change. Many people believe that protecting their heart means becoming cold, distant, or uncaring. This is not the Islamic way. The believer continues to love, continues to help, continues to smile, and continues to wish good for others. But at the same time, the believer understands that trust is earned, not given blindly. Not everyone who smiles at you is sincere. Not everyone who praises you wants good for you. Not everyone who asks about your life deserves to know every detail. Wisdom is knowing when to speak, when to remain silent, when to open your heart, and when to keep certain matters between yourself and Allah. Sometimes we share too much with people simply because we are looking for someone to understand us. We reveal our deepest struggles, our biggest dreams, our private worries, and our family matters to those who have not proven themselves trustworthy. Later, when relationships change, we become shocked that our secrets are repeated, misunderstood, or even used against us. This pain often begins because we confused familiarity with trust. Knowing someone for a long time is not the same as knowing their character. Spending time with someone does not automatically mean they are capable of protecting your dignity. There are people who unintentionally drain your heart. Every conversation leaves you anxious. Every meeting increases your doubts. Every interaction makes you question your worth. They criticize more than they encourage. They remind you of your mistakes but rarely acknowledge your efforts. They create confusion instead of clarity. If you continuously expose your heart to such influences without setting healthy boundaries, you should not be surprised when your peace slowly disappears. Just as you protect your body from harmful environments, you must also protect your heart from influences that weaken your faith, your confidence, and your relationship with Allah. The Prophet ﷺ taught believers to exercise wisdom in dealing with people. Good character does not require becoming naive. Mercy does not require accepting repeated harm. Forgiveness does not require removing every boundary. You can forgive someone while choosing not to place yourself in the same situation that caused unnecessary pain. You can make dua for someone while deciding not to trust them with your private matters. You can remain respectful while limiting their influence over your emotions. These are not signs of hatred. They are signs of maturity and wisdom. Many believers suffer because they allow one person's words to define their entire day. A single insult destroys their confidence. One criticism overshadows 10 compliments. One betrayal causes them to lose trust in everyone around them. This happens because the heart has become too accessible. Every opinion enters without permission. Every negative comment settles deeply inside. But imagine a heart that remembers Allah throughout the day. Imagine a heart that measures its worth through faith instead of public approval. Such a heart still feels pain, but it is not destroyed by every disappointment because it knows that human beings are imperfect and their judgments are limited. Protecting your heart also means protecting your time and attention. Not every argument deserves your response. Not every accusation deserves your defense. Not every misunderstanding requires a lengthy explanation. Sometimes silence is stronger than 100 words. Sometimes walking away preserves your dignity more than winning an argument. Sometimes the greatest victory is refusing to allow another person's negativity to occupy your thoughts for days or weeks. Every hour spent obsessing over someone's behavior is an hour that could have been spent remembering Allah, seeking knowledge, strengthening family ties, or improving your own character. There are moments when Allah removes certain people from your life, not to punish you, but to protect you. At first, the separation may feel painful. You may question why the friendship ended, why the relationship changed, or why someone became distant. But with time, Allah reveals wisdom that was hidden from your eyes. You realize that what you thought was a loss was actually protection. You discover that the door which closed prevented you from entering greater harm. You begin to understand that Allah's mercy often appears in forms we do not immediately recognize, because He knows every heart while we only see what appears on the surface. When your heart belongs first to Allah, you become more careful about who influences your emotions. You stop handing your peace to people who have never valued it. You stop expecting loyalty from those who have repeatedly shown carelessness. You stop seeking constant validation from those whose opinions change with every circumstance. Instead, you learn to value sincerity over popularity, character over appearance, honesty over flattering words, and closeness to Allah over closeness to people. My dear brothers and sisters, every one of us will meet people who misunderstand us, disappoint us, ignore us, or even hurt us. This has always been part of life, and it will remain part of life until we return to Allah. But the greatest question is not whether people will change. The greatest question is whether our connection with Allah will remain strong when they do. If your peace depends on people, then your peace will constantly disappear because people themselves are constantly changing. But if your peace depends on Allah, then even when the world around you becomes uncertain, your heart will remain steady because Allah never changes. Do not spend your precious life trying to control what people think about you. You cannot control their opinions, their emotions, or their choices. You cannot force someone to appreciate your kindness or recognize your sacrifices. You cannot make everyone understand your intentions. There will always be those who judge without knowing, criticize without understanding, and speak without knowledge. If you spend your life chasing their approval, you will lose the tranquility that Allah wants for you. Instead, protect your heart by filling it with remembrance of Allah. Whenever your mind begins replaying conversations, replace those thoughts with dhikr. Whenever you feel abandoned by people, remember that Allah is always near. Whenever you feel misunderstood, remember that Allah knows every secret hidden within your heart. Whenever you are disappointed by someone's actions, remind yourself that your reward was never dependent upon people. It has always been with Allah. Never allow one person's betrayal to make you lose faith in the goodness that still exists. Never allow one disappointment to make you forget the countless blessings Allah has already given you. Never allow overthinking to steal the moments you could spend in gratitude, worship, kindness, and hope. Every minute you spend trapped inside unnecessary worries is a minute that could have brought you closer to your Creator. Always remember that Allah sometimes removes people from your life because He is making room for something better. Sometimes unanswered messages are protection. Sometimes broken relationships are mercy. Sometimes closed doors are the greatest gifts. Even though we only understand their wisdom much later, Allah sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. His plan is always greater than your understanding. So from this day forward, make a sincere intention. Stop giving people authority over your happiness. Stop allowing their opinions to define your worth. Stop exhausting yourself by searching for hidden meanings behind every word and every silence. Live with sincerity. Treat everyone with kindness. Fulfill your responsibilities. Forgive when you can. Set healthy boundaries when necessary. And leave the rest to Allah. Raise your hands often and ask Allah, "Oh Allah, purify my heart from unnecessary worries. Protect me from overthinking. Fill my heart with contentment, patience, and complete trust in you. Do not allow the actions of people to distance me from your remembrance. Make my heart firm upon faith, peaceful in every situation, and satisfied with every decree you have written for me." If this reminder benefited you even a little, then share it with someone whose heart has been carrying invisible burdens. You may become the reason Allah brings peace back into someone's life. And if you have not already done so, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and continue joining us for reminders that strengthen our faith, bring comfort to our hearts, and draw us closer to Allah. May Allah protect every heart that is struggling in silence. May He replace every worry with peace, every fear with trust, every sadness with hope, and every hardship with ease. May He make us among those whose hearts are attached only to Him, whose reliance is only upon Him, and whose final destination is Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen.